We're just a couple of days into the campaign period for GE2025, and already much has been happening. If this is your first time on the Usual Place podcast, I'm Natasha, and every day at noon during the campaign period, I'll be talking to different groups of people involved in this election. So yesterday, Team PAP was hanging out here, but today you'll be hearing from Team Workers' Party, in particular from the three candidates running in Tampines GRC, Mr. Jimmy Tan, Mr. Faisal Manap, and Dr. Ong Lue Ping. Welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
Thank you.
You're good?
Very good?
Yep.
All right, so I want to start with what happened yesterday, because it was the first day of rallies in 10 years. And at the PPP's rally, I'm going to ask you about someone else's rally, last night, there were some comments against the WP's decision to stand in Tampines and cause a four-cornered fight. Would you like to respond to what, in particular, Mr. Goh Meng Seng, about leader of the opposition or anything that was said last night? Open to the whole couch. Yes.
Okay, basically, everyone has the right to express their feeling and their sentiment, right? So, Workers' Party has always taken the stand that we have to agree to disagree. We have to respect people's views. Mm-hmm. So, to me, Mr. Goh Meng Seng has the right to voice out, express out his sentiment, and we respect that. Yeah.
All right. Jimmy, Lue Ping, do you have anything to add?
I think there was one point he brought up that Pritam did not give the people of Marine Parade Braddell Heights an answer, which I think is wrong, because Pritam did put up a post explaining why the leadership make the decision. And I think all of us stand by the decision with the leaders. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I just want to echo what Faisal has mentioned. I mean, this is a democracy, right? Everyone has the right to express whatever views they have. Right, so I mean, if that's his view, so be it.
All right. Okay, we'll leave that aside for now. Now I want to know about you. We'll start with Faisal. But before I ask you some question, let's watch a little snippet of your nomination day speech.
Anda meminta dan menggesa Parti Pekerja bertanding di GRC ini. Alhamdulillah, pada pilihan raya umum kali ini, kami memenuhi hasrat dan permintaan anda. Jika dipilih, kami akan bekerja keras dan berusaha sedaya upaya. Berilah kami peluang untuk mewakili anda di Parlimen. Undilah Parti Pekerja, bekerja untuk GRC Tampines, bekerja untuk Singapura.
So Faisal?
Yes.
You were in Aljunied GRC for 3 election cycles?
Yes.
Now you're going to stand in Tampines GRC
Yes.
to face this four-corner fight, as I mentioned. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about leaving Aljunied GRC?
Okay, when I made the decision, right, to be honest, I feel at peace. Yeah, I'm a person where I follow what's my heart, directs me to do. So at that point in time when I made that big decision, I don't feel any sense of, tense or, feeling uneasy or uncomfortable. So my heart was at peace. If I can express it in a bit of a analogy, right? Like what Kung Fu Panda say, inner peace.
Mm.
Okay, yeah. That was a reference I wasn't expecting. But
by the way, I'm a fan of Kung Fu Panda lah.
Oh, okay. Do you win any other insight from that movie? It has like 3, 4, 5 movies over there. I was like,
yeah, because you mentioned about the secret scroll, right? So they said that there's a secret in there. So when they unfold the scroll, so it's a reflection of yourself. So actually the strength is coming from yourself. So you need to know your strength, your weaknesses, and work on your strength and accept your weaknesses. And that's how, for me, when I face with certain challenges, I reflect back to that point. Yeah.
All right. So there's something new happening for you this election, from my point of view. So you're actually the anchor for this team in this election, and it's a role that I would you say that you're new to? Because everybody else is new.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh.
Yeah. Because being a MP for 3 terms, I feel is rightful. Is right for me to lead the team and to in a way to share my experiences as well as to give some guidance. But at the end of the day, I always believe in collective effort, teamwork. So I'm there just to be a guide. Yeah.
How did that conversation with leader of the opposition go? Were you like, it's me, I'm ready for Tampines?
Okay, what Pritam mentioned in one of the doorstop, right? So he said that I've been expressing my interest in Tampines for the last maybe 1-2 years. So at that point in time, I was just jokingly saying it. But at the same time, I know that there's a lot of my I have a lot of contacts in terms of friends, relative, extended relative, and we did quite a big scale, not a big scale. I mean, we do often do this outreach in Tampines, right, including our selling of newsletter. So I've been receiving a lot of requests, from the Tampines resident, asking us to contest. So knowing that, and going with my heart. So when the idea of me going there, was mooted, so actually I told Pritam, yes, I'm ready to go to Tampines.
All right. So it's going to be a very intense fight because you are one of 4 parties standing there, and you'll be going up against the incumbent PAP, which is led by Social and Family Development Minister Masagos Zulkifli, and then there's the National Solidarity Party and the People's Power Party. So going by what voters are talking about, some Singaporeans are disappointed that there are so many opposition parties in one GRC, which they say might dilute the opposition vote. What do you say to this? I'm going to open it up to all 3 of you.
So during the course of the past 2 days, there are some residents who told me they are concerned. And so we spoke in length about this entire thing, and they, in general, all of them agree that they want an opposition in the balanced political system. So then I told them, you have a choice. There are 3 choices for you. Choose the one that you think can best represent you in Parliament. And this will be a mandate which really represent what the people of Tampines want. Yeah, that's my thought.
I think that's a very bold statement to make because you are obviously gunning to go into Parliament. So what if you don't get chosen?
The mandate is from the people. We can't direct them to do what they do not want to do. We can only give our best, and the power has to be bestowed by them to us. To be their voice in Parliament, their voices in Parliament. Yeah.
Faisal, Lue Ping, do you want to add on?
Okay, for me it's simple. We have to do the right thing, okay, in order to give people choices. So being a workers' party, whatever we do, we need to be able to answer to our conscience. That's the first main thing. So our conscience telling us right now that, okay, we're going to Tampines. Yes, there are other parties who contested there, but I agree with Jamie in the sense that, we give the people a choice. It's a part and parcel of a democratic society. Yeah.
I suppose just to add on, no matter what the results are, we will still be serving Singapore in different ways.
Yeah.
So we're just going there with inner peace, peace of heart, right? It's a democracy. We all have different ideas and ideals, right? It's for the people to decide what works best for them. Yeah.
All right. So, Jimmy,
Yes.
Lue Ping, both of you are new faces, new that were just introduced in the last couple of weeks or in the last couple of days to Singaporeans. So I'm sure people watching will want to know more about you. So we start with you, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I won't ask you to sing, I promise. I promise, no singing, but I will have questions for you. But before we get there, here's a little clip from a WP video that you did.
Because I believe that nobody, or for that matter, no political party, has the monopoly of wisdom. So, 17 chance upon the Facebook post from the Workers' Party calling for volunteers. I registered immediately without hesitant, and has officially stepped up in my volunteering journey somewhere around mid of 21.8, yes, 21.8. And never look back since then.
You're really resonating with what he said. Jimmy, I want to ask you, because you've done a couple of interviews and your childhood has featured quite prominently because that comes up about how you grew up in a rental flat. Okay, also across party lines, candidates always bring up how they grew up, what their parents do. Why is it important to share your background, and what does it mean for voters to take this into account?
I want to be truthful and let the voter know who am I. So it doesn't set the value of me where I started from. But at the end of the day, what am I doing now with my life for the people of Singapore? So I just want to send a statement to everybody. If you feel that there's something that you can do for the betterment of Singapore, do it. Don't let your background determine your value. Your value is determined by your action for the betterment of Singapore.
Okay. So you've gone from being a volunteer. So you started with the WP as a volunteer.
Yeah.
And you became a legislative assistant to Mr. Singh earlier this year, is it?
Yeah, prior to this, I was his secretarial assistant, managing the Meet the People session. Thereafter, at the beginning of this year, the legislative assistant.
Okay. So stepping up as a candidate is a whole different ballgame, different responsibilities. What made you feel ready to say yes to stand for an election when asked? And what strengths do you think you'll bring to Parliament should you be elected?
So this question was thrown to me almost like 2 years ago. One day, Pritam just sent me a message, can we meet for coffee on Saturday? So I was like, suddenly, I replied him. I think I remembered replying him, just you and me. I need to know who else are involved in the meeting, right? So
Why?
yeah.
Why do you got scared?
No,
if I get a message like that, I'll be scared.
Because at that time I think I just started like a few months into being his secretarial assistant. Maybe I did something wrong that he's going to terminate me. Going to be out of job. No. I was just trying to visualize or to think about what would the issue be. So when met, spoke about the whole entire thing, it took me 2 years to decide. And I think like what I mentioned during my candidacy introductory message, the September 2020 parliamentary message that he said was the inspiring, it will continue, was and will be continually inspiring me in my journey. That every one of us believe in an opposition in a parliamentary democracy. It's not going to happen when everybody hope someone else will do the job. Someone must take his flag, stick it into the sand and say, I'll do it. So that is really that message that is stick on my mind, stick in my life, in my principle of doing things. And having worked with him since August 2020, I see the way he does his estates work and visit to the resident. It's really a people's MP, A people's MP, he can go to the wake after MPS at 11 p.m. all by himself. All by himself. And then this is the kind of member of parliament I would aspire to be if elected into parliament.
What strengths do you see yourself bringing from your background or what you've done? Because you're an entrepreneur, what have you learned? So how will we see you as an MP should you be elected?
So there are pressing issues, like I mentioned in my candidate introductory issue of cost of housing, cost of higher education in specific degree, and also the elderly's chronic disease healthcare costs. I think these are part and parcel of our life, where at different stages of our life we need to deal with it. There's no running away with it. And now that I have 2 granddaughters, adorable. I mean, I don't know how many more years I will have, but I think I would do my part to see what I can contribute in policy changes to deal with this problem, so that when I'm gone, I know I have done all my best for the future generation. With the second half of my life, I think I want to leave a legacy for them that this is what I do, what I have done. And if you think that something must be done, step up. Do your part. Do your part for Singapore.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Jimmy. I'm going to move to the other new face candidate on the couch who's also making his debut this election, Lue Ping. Before we chat, let's have a look at a snippet of your nomination day speech.
For years, we have heard your call for the Workers' Party to contest in Tampines GRC. So here we are. Faisal, Eileen, Jimmy, Michael, and I are here to give you a real choice and a real voice to your daily struggles and concerns. Residents of Tampines GRC Your vote is powerful. Give us your strongest support. Tampines deserves a fresh perspective. We are ready to listen, serve, and fight for you.
How do you feel watching that? Why are you laughing? Why do you feel watching
Okay,
that?
I thought I was a bit hyped up, but I think the passion did show, and it did come at the appropriate time. Yeah, so I think everything what I said then was what the whole team felt. Yeah.
All right. I want to go back to something you said in a candidate video for WP, right? So you said in that Singapore is operating on the premise of siege mentality and a perpetual state of vulnerability, which makes us risk-averse and government-dependent. What do you think the Singapore national psyche should be now, especially with the precarious geopolitical situation we're in?
I think precisely because we're in this situation, right, we really need to have a more positive mindset towards ourselves as a nation and as a people. I mean, the thing that I'm quite big into is really positive psychology, right? We cannot always be thinking about our weaknesses, our vulnerabilities. Of course, my own principle is really prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. But you must always have that optimism. You cannot always be saying, these are all the risks, these are all the dangers, right? I'm a psychologist, right? So all this actually affects your mental health, right? So I really believe that we should have a growth mindset and really a collective belief that Singapore's best is yet to be, right? And together we can do our part for the betterment of Singapore.
So what do you make when you hear PAP leaders talking about the current global affairs and then, they're prepping Singaporeans for the worst or what could happen? What do you make of it, given what you said about the mindset?
Yeah. As I say, we must always prepare for the worst, but we also should be hoping for the best, right? So whatever they say, I think has valid views. Right, we really need to stand together. I think our party stand is quite united with the government, right? We want to stand together as one people, right? But we also want to have that belief that as one people we can do better, right? We can have diverse views, we can have diverse points, but we are all standing together. So I think there's always this perception, if you are not supporting the government, you are actually not supporting Singapore, but that's not true. Right, all of us here, we are fighting our best for Singapore. It's just that we have different views, right? And we feel that with diverse views, we can actually uncover blind spots, right? And that's ultimately would be the best for Singapore's long-term future.
So another thing that kind of caught people's attention was your analogy about Singaporeans sailing in different boats, right? And where you called for socially just and equitable policies in your candidate introduction speech, right? So looking at where we are, what is one thing in your version of an equitable system that we should do differently than what we have now?
I think one thing that the Workers' Party has been really advocating for is a minimum wage, right? I mean, you do see, there are people who are elderly who has to clear the tables, wash the toilets. Of course, if they really want to do that job, that's fine. But I think there's a lot of elderlies that we spoke to. They have to do it for a living. It's not a choice, right? So I think we should really be doing more for our most vulnerable, right? Everyone should have a dignified social life. Nobody should have to give up their family time because they have to work 2 or 3 jobs, right? So I think this is the compassionate and inclusive society that the Workers' Party is very passionate about, which is also the reason why I joined the Workers' Party.
All right. And another thing you said another thing you said was that one of your concerns is the impact of groupthink. And it kind of came out yesterday in the rally. A couple of people mentioned it in their speeches. But it's groupthink within Singapore's highest decision-making bodies. Yeah. Okay, but groupthink can happen anywhere, in any organization. So I have to ask you, what makes the WP so concerned, what makes the WP confident that it's not susceptible to the same?
Okay. So I think one of the reasons why I joined the Workers' Party is also really to provide diverse views into the party, right? I don't think there has been any psychologist or someone who is really into mental health that is in the party membership, at least.
That was what I noticed because you had a strong mental health focus.
Yeah. Yep. So I thought with that, we can also bring diverse views into the party. Of course, I think we have side MPs who are really keen on mental health, like Ru, Ting Ru. Yeah, she's actually very big into mental health as well. But I think the advantage for me is I've been on the ground for the past 22 years. I've been seeing patients and I suppose, unfortunately, I also see the worst effects of our pressure cooker system on our young people, especially. So that's why I thought, because in our practice, we try our best to help our patients cope, be a bit more resilient. But we often feel very helpless when those things that affect their mental health is actually the structural factors, right? That we can't do anything about as a psychologist. So I thought, okay, I think it's about time that I step up to also address all these structural issues in Parliament so that we create a better environment for our young people.
Well, there has been a lot of conversation around mental health, and at the government level, they have also been doing a bit of things. Are you saying it's not enough, or what more do you think could be done, or what would you bring to Parliament? Should you be elected?
Okay, to be fair, I have been involved in quite a few of those initiatives. So I must say, and perhaps this might be a biased view, we are really going in the correct direction. The National Mental Health and Wellbeing Strategy that was sort of implemented last year. But I think more can be done. The main thing that I'm really hoping for is really more financial resources to be put into mental health. You know, there was a recent study, right, that shows that the economic cost of depression and anxiety alone is $15.7 billion, right? That's quite a huge percentage of GDP, right? But can you guess how much money do we put into mental health in our healthcare expenditure each year?
No idea.
Okay, at least from FY20 to FY22, okay, average of 400 million a year, right? Okay, 400 million versus 15.7 billion, right? Is really, I think, we can do more, right? So really, I hope to be able to push for more resources because I know the healthcare practitioners and the agencies, they are trying their very best, right, to help their clients, to help their patients, but sometimes we are really limited by resources. So if we can invest more into the well-being of our Singaporeans, I think that will be very good for our future.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Lue Ping, for the answer. I want to bring it back to the whole couch because we are still in the hustings period. We're just day 3 only. So having been on the ground in Tampines so far, what has the response been? Because people are meeting 4 parties. What has the response been to your team?
Okay, basically like what we mentioned in our nomination speech, right? We actually, in a way, fulfilling the wishes of the Tampines GRC residents and voters that they want the presence of Workers' Party in the GRC itself. And since the past 3 days, when is it? Thursday, Friday? Today? Yeah.
Today's 30.
Today, right? Okay.
Does it feel very long?
Yeah, indeed. I lost
count already.
track lah, basically. So the engagement on the ground is very positive. We do hear the same thing. You know, people say, "Oh, you're most welcome here. You know, we've been wanting to see you for the past 20 years. You know, we've been waiting for the Workers' Party to come in." And so yes, we can resonate with that, and that's why we offer ourselves. That's why I most willing to come up from Aljunied to go into Tampines.
Yeah. I just want to add on to that. I really echo that point because while we are walking right at Tampines, quite a few residents actually come up to us and shake our hands and say, "Thank God you guys are finally here. We have been waiting for you." So I must say the reception has been very warm. We feel very welcomed by the residents of Tampines, and we promise that we'll put out a good fight.
For me, I think the encouraging part is that when you are walking over the last 2 days and including today, many of those that you have engaged during house visit starts coming out to you and say, didn't know that you are standing as a candidate, you know, and glad that you guys are here. I think that is so encouraging. All the effort that you have done over the years, I think is worth every bit of it.
Faisal, I wanted to ask you, because you have spoken with Aljunied residents, you know, now that you're walking the ground in Tampines, you know, are there any concerns that you're hearing that are different, or what are residents raising to y'all when you talk to them about their concerns?
Okay, I came across quite a number of residents who mentioned about municipal issues. And then some of them actually asked, what we can offer in terms of managing the estate. So I genuinely share with them that I've been with the unit Hougang Town Council for 14 years, and so I assumed the chairmanship for about 3 years. So I told them that yes, I do have the experiences, I do have the knowledge. So when I come to, let's say if I'm being voted in, okay, I will bring along, basically I will apply the experiences and the knowledge that I have, and also to actually to guide the team, and because of course we come from diverse background, right? So the input from us is very important. Yeah. So again, that was one of the question, and the other one is that basically what more can we do for them? And of course, been wanting a voice in Parliament, so we are here to provide the alternative voice for the residents of Tampines.
All right. Jimmy, Lue Ping, do you have anything to add about people talking to you?
I just want to add, this morning one young guy came to me and asked me, okay, what are you going to do for us, right?
I think that's a valid question.
Yeah, I think it's a valid question. And I say, we're going to continue to do what has been done, right? But the main thing that I think we really want to focus on is to put the well-being of the residents in the front and center of our design and our own thinking about how to make Tampines better for everyone. Yeah, so whether it's inclusive, whether it's affordable, all these things are things that we want to bring into Tampines as well. It's not just infrastructure. Anyone can build that. But infrastructure with the well-being of the residents at the front and center of our decision-making process, I think that's what we can bring in.
All right. So, Jimmy, are you?
Yeah, so I think when walking the ground on day one, after nomination, I think it was in the evening, this young lady walked up to me and said that, we are so glad you're here. My family will be all voting for you, and we will support the Workers' Party. So my statement to her, it has always been so that, because I started late in politics. My political awakening, which I mentioned, was in 2017. It was quite late, and I hope the younger generation would take ownership and get involved. The world, the future is yours to make. The future of Singapore is in the hand of everyone. So I invited her, why don't you just register yourself as a volunteer? Let's talk. What is your aspiration for yourself, for the country? Don't just remain at the level of just, I'll vote for the Workers' Party. But let's take a step forward, step up, working for Singapore.
All right. On that note, I'm not letting you go just yet because I have a bowl of getting to know you questions. Okay, so Lue Ping, I'm going to ask you to pick one, and then pass me the sheet, the strip of paper, and I'll read it. And all of you have to.
Stressful.
You sit the nearest, unfortunately. You're sitting the nearest, so unfortunately it's you. Oh, okay. I think this is an easy question. Okay, so the question is, what was your childhood ambition, and what made you change paths to what you do now? What was that one thing? Okay, Jimmy, you're on the end.
Okay.
You got to go first.
I have always wanted to be a policeman. Policeman, yes. I think you look at my face. A lot of people told me that if you are in your civilian sitting at a coffee shop, people will think that you are CID. Many people told me that, and some even ask me, were you a RSM in a regular in the army? I said no, I wasn't.
Why? Maybe the look. Feel like you're gonna shout, drop it down 20.
Yeah. So also it's because of my look. But growing up, I then realized that regimental life may not be for me. So but I still hold that ambition of my childhood dream, and maybe either my daughter or my granddaughter one day will become.
You will live vicariously through your kids and your grandkids. All right. Okay, Faisal, what was your childhood ambition?
Okay, basically I would like to be a doctor back then, but I think God has a better plan for me, because at the end of the day, as a doctor, right, you're there to make life better for people. So for me, here I am, from being wanted to be a doctor, and then I actually sidetracked, I kind of a bit of deviation lah. So I went to engineering. After that, I realized that that's not my cup of tea. So I studied Bachelor of Science in Psychology. So with that, actually, I came back to. I was studying overseas. I studied overseas, I came back, I did counselling. And through counselling, I feel that, I need to go on a bigger stage. As a counsellor, you can help as much as you want to. But if the person is staying in a pressure cooker, like what Dr. Lue Ping mentioned just now, so you need to do something more than that. So that's where, from the micro approach, I actually, go into politics, which I believe that I need to do something which, to allow people to have a more conducive ambience. That's why I go into politics, and hopefully that point in time, my mind is that I just want to have certain say in the policy making. So in a way that it still, goes back to my point of my intention of wanting to help people. So at the end of the day, God led me to this path. Am I still helping people, or in a different way?
Yeah.
Being a policymaker.
All right. So, Lue Ping, it's on you. The last question. What do you
Okay,
want to be
I
as
hope
a
I have
child?
more time. I got 3 ambitions.
Oh, wow.
I managed to
Overachiever kid. That's an overachiever.
I managed to fulfill 1.5. Okay, so my first one that I didn't fulfill was to be a professional football player. But I don't have the talent or the skill, so I have to just play it as a hobby. Second one, same. I want to be a police officer, right? So I was actually a volunteer special constabulary for a while. So I was a volunteer police officer. That was after I finished all my reservist obligations. So I was from armor. And after that, I was thinking, how else can I serve Singapore, right? So then I went to a website and applied for it, got it. But at that time, of course, I checked with my wife. I got 3 kids then. I did it for 2 years. That was the best time of my life, doing patrolling and really serving the people. And of course, using my psychological knowledge as well on the ground. But unfortunately, I have to stop that for family reasons. Of course, the third one is to be a psychologist, which I'm glad I've been doing for the past 22 years.
All right. You got to send Jimmy the link to being a volunteer. And where he can sign up.
Over age already.
Over age. Oh, okay. You just got to, watch out for people on your walkabout.
Yeah, it's serving the community, right? So I'm serving in another area for Singapore.
Yeah. In fact,
put my best self forward. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, the joke that I told my friends when they heard me going to politics is, I told them that I'm wearing blue again, right? But instead of holding a police baton, hopefully I can hold a political hammer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't be hitting anyone on the way on your walkabouts. But thank you all for dropping by. I'm going to let you get back to Tampines GRC. And that's it from me today. The GE2025 campaign is just unfolding, and as things go with elections, anything can happen overnight. So more guests are swinging by tomorrow, and I hope to see you back at noon. And I'll be streaming live from the same couch right here on The Usual Place. I'll see you then.